All right. Hello again, Avengers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 226. And today, I needed to drink water. All right. So today, um, I am still super not okay. And I have tried multiple to the times to record a video to kind of talk about what's been going on just so I can say it. And I just can't. It, I just can't. I need something to distract myself from how not okay I am right now. So, I had an idea. Um, I've mentioned before, I have a buddy, his name is DK. He streams the video games on the Twitch. And he streams the video games real good on the Twitch. Um, DK has a Discord server. But by the way, um, DK is currently the only streamer that I subscribe to on all of Twitch. That is how much I support his streaming career. So if you like these stories, his Twitch channel is twitch.tv/declarations, which is spelled DK Lorations, and he's a super cool dude. So anyway, um, on his Discord server, DK was the dude that I set up the D&D program for his community that kind of fizzled out because we ran out of DMs. But I still belong to the Discord server, and we still talk about D&D and stuff like that. And somebody asked a question about something to the effect of, what if I wanted to adapt something into a TTRPG? Like, what system should I use to do that? And since I have done that many times before, I replied, "Well, it depends on what you're adapting." Um, and they mentioned to do two things that I don't remember anymore. But one was a book series, and the other one was something else. And I went, "Yeah, like my go-to if I'm like stuck. Open Legend is really, really easy to kind of create your own systems in and create your own abilities and everything like that, kind of on the fly. So that makes it really, really easy to adapt anything. However, different things are going to work in different ways. And then I mentioned, yeah, I've done adaptations. I just ran a Metroid game using Lancer. I've done a Castlevania game using D&D 5th Edition. I've done two of those. And a long time ago, I think is one of my Daily December videos or something, I did this thought experiment where I tried to create basically a Mega Man X game in D&D 5th Edition. And it has been many years since that happened. And one of the things that I've kind of discovered now that I've played a lot more systems than just D&D 5th Edition is if I was going to make a Mega Man TTRPG campaign, I wouldn't use D&D 5th Edition. There's too much in 5e that doesn't, like, you really would have to shoehorn it in to make it make sense in a Mega Man world. And there are aspects of Mega Man that would be really, really difficult to implement in D&D 5th Edition. Specifically, getting boss weapons and boss weaknesses. That's just not a thing that D&D 5th Edition does well. you can have unique weapons that bosses carry. Like that's not a hard thing to do. And I've done that. I design custom weapons all the time for my players. But the idea of a weapon you get from one boss somehow being the quote unquote weakness of another boss, the closest that you're going to get in 5th edition is it's like, well, it does cold damage and this boss is vulnerable to cold damage. But there's limited numbers of damage types in D&D 5th edition, and the resistance and vulnerability system is really, really simple on purpose. But because of that, it's just not that useful. Because all it does is if you're vulnerable to something, you take double damage whenever that damage type hits you. And there are a lot of things that do different damage types. So like if you got a cold sword from the Ice Maverick and then went to the Fire Maverick and that was their weakness, well, yes, that weapon would be very effective against that if that monster was vulnerable to cold damage. But so would anyone using like Ice Knife or any of the myriad of spells that do cold damage. And so it doesn't really fit. So after having this conversation with this person, they asked, hey, did you ever finish that? And I said, no, I think I kind of started designing a couple of the Mavericks, and then I, found something else to deal with. But it did get me thinking that could be fun if I ever decided to try it again. And so I started thinking, well, now that I have a lot more systems under my belt, and I own well over 50 now, I think I'm moving into the realm of like 60 or 75 different TTRPGs because of that cool bundle thing that I got. So I got to thinking, well, what could I use for that? And the thing that I kept coming back to was the Cypher system in and of itself. When you look at how the Strange works, which is one of the, I guess you could call it a campaign setting for the Cypher system. It's a game that uses the Cypher system. But one of the things that makes the system unique is that the players in the Cypher system, you have 3 things that make up your character. You have your descriptor, your type, and your focus. Your descriptor is kind of similar to your race and background. Your type is effectively your class. And then your focus is kind of like your subclass. Well, in the Strange, each different recursion, basically alternate reality that you travel to, you get a new focus that fits in that reality. And you can change that when you transition between realities. Again, they call them recursions. And so I got to thinking, for a Mega Man style TTRPG, it could be really fun to make it in the Cypher system. And effectively what would happen is every time you beat a Maverick, you would gain access to a new focus that you, to kind of balance things out a little bit, I would probably put some sort of limit on it. Like maybe the focus is actually attached to a physical thing, and so only the person that's holding that can actually use that focus or something like that, just to make it a little bit more manageable. And then when you're designing each one of the Mavericks, they would have, and it's one of the things I like about the Cypher system is the monsters themselves are basically like you can create an enemy in the Cypher system by just going, we're going to call this a challenge rating 5 enemy. And what that means is anytime somebody attacks them, they have to roll a 15 or higher to hit them, and anytime they attack someone, the players have to roll a 15 or higher defense roll to not get hit. And that's all. You can describe what they want to do, and they can get more complex, but really they're just a challenge rating, and then everything on top of that you can kind of construct however you want to make these kind of really interesting, unique enemies. And so what I was thinking in the Mega Man X series, the the best fights where you're fighting a Maverick with their weakness, it doesn't just do extra damage. Like, there are some Mavericks that the only thing their weakness does is do extra damage. But the really fun ones, it'll do something else. Generally, it will interrupt their most powerful attack. And so it got me to thinking, if you were to design these Maverick characters as basically boss monsters that would get multiple turns to kind of deal with action economy and stuff like that, which I don't think is a thing in the Cypher system, or at least I haven't found it yet. But it, like, I can make it work. Again, I've been running a Cypher system game for 2 years now, so I'm getting used to the system. And so what you do is, part of the more complex Cypher system monsters is they'll have like a list of abilities that they can use, and sometimes they'll even have things that will happen during a GM intrusion. Basically, if the players fumble, or if the GM just wants to add a little bit more danger, they can do an intrusion. And in normal Cypher system, anytime the characters fumble, the GM gets a free intrusion. Otherwise, anytime the GM does an intrusion, they actually give out 2 experience points. One they will give to the person that they're doing the intrusion against, and the other, the player that's getting intruded upon gets to give that to one other player. And it's one of the ways that players gain XP. So what I was thinking was, if I was going to run a Mega Man X, and technically it would work for the regular Mega Man series as well, but I like the X series better. What I would do is I would design the Mavericks with a bunch of different abilities that they can use, and then I would design a focus at the same time. And one of the abilities, or maybe a few of the abilities, would be specifically tied to stopping one of the abilities that the Maverick can do. And so that would actually create something really interesting, because then, instead of just, oh, you do more damage, hooray, it would be kind of a tactical thing of, well, if we have somebody using this focus, then they can, stop Flame Mammoth from covering the ground with oil that he can later set on fire and do lots of damage to us. So things like that, I think that would make for a seriously fun campaign. Yeah. So what I've been thinking about is, because of the not okay thing, I've been having a hard time coming up with topics that I want to talk about for the vlog, and I've been having a really hard time getting out of bed. Today is the first day that I've spent more than maybe 20 minutes, between like 20 minutes and an hour out of bed. For the past, I don't know, easily a week, I've spent almost the entirety of my time in bed, because it's just been real rough. Actually, for a couple of weeks now. And the only reason I was out of bed today was Dungeons & Dragons Online had a thing, a coupon code that still is still good until I think like September something. That gives you a bunch of like really expensive things, like 32-point character builds and a couple classes and things like that just get unlocked for your Kick account without having to pay anything, without having to. I think all those things can be earned in game, but you have to like play through the entire game a lot to be able to earn enough favor to get most of them. So I that's the reason why I was up today, because I was playing DDO. But if I have this little project, I might be able to give myself at least something to do when I don't have another topic to talk about. So this is my idea. Feel free to comment below if you think this is a cool idea. If you're like, you know what? No, I really, do it if you want. I'm not going to watch those videos. What I'm thinking of is when I don't have a topic to talk about, I will just design a Focus and a Maverick for this mythical Mega Man X mini campaign, I guess we could call it. Because effectively all it would be just like a Mega Man X games, it would be 8 Mavericks and then a final stage. And again, it would still be a TTRPG, so it would be more than just, oh, now we're going to fight this. Like, there would still be, like, cool ideas for stages, and you'd still have to use all of your skills and stuff like that, and there'd be role-playing and stuff. So I'm not saying, like, yeah, I'm just going to make a boss rush mode. No, there'd be a lot more to it. But I think it might be fun. Like, design them during the video. I'd have, like, a Word document or something open that I can kind of design the threats in. I probably would do it in Roll20 because their threat stat blocks, or whatever they're called, the enemy stat blocks work really well. And so, yeah, I think that would be fun. So, interested to hear from you guys. Would you guys like to watch basically the entire process of me designing 8 kind of big boss battles and 8 focuses that are specifically tied to beating those boss battles? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I think it might be fun. It would definitely be something different, something that I haven't seen everywhere on D&D YouTube. So, yeah. Otherwise, like I said, I got my G.I. Joe Intercontinental Adventures in-depth review out. Very proud of that. The next G.I. Joe book doesn't come out until September. So I'm going to wait until September to pick up a copy of that one and then do my in-depth review closer to the release date. So that means I have a little bit of time, and I'm planning on doing a Draw Steel in-depth review, and then I have one other TTRPG that I've been meaning to do an in-depth review for like almost a year now, called Break. So I might do that as well. But like I said, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to watch me design Cypher System stuff for this? Or here's an even better question. Do you have an idea for a Mega Man X? Like, what system would you use if you wanted to make a Mega Man X campaign? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all from me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.